Hey guys, Coldbrew here. Welcome back to Raid with the test server today. Gonna showcase you one new epic hero that was added to the game. And it's a special one because it can help you possibly with the Fire Knight, the hard difficulty of the Fire Knight, but maybe even well, you cannot do the normal one, but maybe even some other encounter in the future that can require freezes. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at this new champion that was added. And I just want to say I didn't think it's gonna work in the beginning before I started building him out, but in the end it actually seemed to work, although it's very difficult to make it work on difficulty 10. So it's this guy right here, Nelder Rhineblade in the High Elves, right? He's brand new, and what he has that makes him special is this skill right here. Well, the passive. It's the passive that makes him special. So Cold-Blooded Drive. Whenever an ally places a freeze debuff, this champion has a 30% chance to attack the target with the default skill. So any champion that you might have in the team that can place a freeze, we're all gonna call out Newt at this moment. Newt does a freeze on his A1. If he does not reduce turn meter, he does a freeze instead. Okay, so that can happen and both on bosses and on enemies. Okay, so if an enemy has 0 turn meter, he'll get frozen. If a boss is like the Fire Knight boss on difficulty 1 to 10 on hard, he'll be frozen, but it won't show a freeze. So that's what I was thinking at the start. Like, is this gonna work? Because you don't actually freeze, you don't see the freeze debuff, right? The boss is not frozen. You just see the turn meter reduction with Newt, all right? But apparently this works, okay? So it does work. It does have a chance to proc, which makes it bad in my opinion. It's not ideal. It's what I want to say. So if you depend on this to actually do something, it's 30% of the time, right? So A1, look at this, attacks 3 times at random. So this is your default attack that you'll be hitting, which also has a 40% chance, because you need to book it honestly, to place a freeze debuff for 1 turn. His other parts of his kit are also very interesting and very much worth using throughout. It depends on how you want to use them though, and of course, ideally, eventually you want to get a blessing to get more hits through. But look at this, attacks one enemy 4 times. The debuffs that he applies through these are decreased attack, decreased accuracy, which are not that great, specifically for the Fire Knight. And then the A3 is a double hitting attack with a chance to apply decreased speed. Very strong, I would say, to apply the decreased speed if you don't have it already with another champion. The team that I'll showcase today has already decreased speed. So what I'm using, Nelder, is basically A1, which is triple hitting attack, plus the passive, which is again using the triple hitting A1, right? In terms of masteries, you go Giant Slayer because he's a triple hitter, and that's pretty much it. He doesn't do great deal of damage, especially with the gear that I have him. I have him in a Relentless set, and with good enough speed, right? Look at that, 265. Good enough speed to go before my other damage dealer, which will be Newt, all right? So it's nothing too crazy in terms of how I built him with a Relentless set, but if you aim to push for Fire Knight hard, these are the speeds and accuracies that you'll need, all right? You'll need 350, you'll need over 250 speed, all right? And going for damage stats on your other you know, stats that you're looking for, right? So let's have a look at the team. I'll show you the team that works on 6. Okay, let's have a look at 6 and how this works. I do have 2 ally attack champions in the team, and I also have this guy right here called Yakal the Scourge. Everybody can get him through the clan shop, and he does apply the speed. That's why I've mentioned I disabled speed on this guy. Okay, Newt always on the last spot here, so that the ally attacks when they are happening, they send off every hero to attack, and Newt is the last one to go. So in the case that the boss's shield is dropped, Newt does his turn meter control, which is the strongest of the whole team, by the way. Although Nelder can freeze with 3 times, it is limited to 30% chance. So if you're very lucky, you'll freeze 3 times. But I could see an argument for the different masteries as well to increase that chance, by the way. But I went for Giant Slayer just to see the extra damage. But I could totally see. So the team that I'm thinking for Fire Knight 10 would probably not have Yakal in there, and ideally would have Prince Kaimar for just spamming those ally attacks. That's what I was thinking of doing, but I don't know if that's really possible. But I can try it out. for the recording right here. So you can see this one, we freeze them a lot. Freezes also force, force you to do less damage. The enemies take 75% of the damage, by the way, if you guys didn't know. So when you do apply freeze, it will take a little bit longer. I don't have a defense down as an AoE, so Genzen could have been used here, I guess. For the AoE defense down, Genzen does very solid damage, and he's featured in like one of the fastest teams for clearing Fire 9. That team uses Genzen plus double ally attack, I believe. And one of the ally attacks is cardio, which I don't have for the showcase, but still looking at the epic. All right, the real showcase will be once we reach the boss. These waves are pretty much controlled by Yakal and his big AoE freeze, which is very nice. You need it because these enemies can hurt, especially on Fire Night 10. It gets a little bit difficult, but I'm just waiting here. I've disabled like skills on my ally attackers. Even Newt will not be going in with his big A3, enemy max HP skill. So look at this. This guy's just spamming skills because of the Relentless set, which again, that one also brings some added RNG, right? So if you depend on Relentless to beat a dungeon, it will not be a good one to farm, right? So if it helps you clear maybe faster, then that's a good one. But if you depend on Relentless, that's never a good time. Okay, so look at how slow we're beating it. 2 minutes. It's not fast, and the boss will not be faster either, because it's mostly giant stairs, right? So with 18 shields on difficulty 6, look at that, we drop it to 9, and then next ally attack comes in. Look at this. The Newt goes in, he reduces turn meter. Look at that. And I want to see if we'll get, look at this. We got the passive, then he hit again with his A1. Basically, the boss is at turn meter 0, which is fantastic. Plus the decreased speed really helps us to just establish control throughout the fight. Look at the extra turns there. Just amazing, because both Newt and Yakal can freeze. Yakal freezes with all of his skills, but I have his big AoE disabled for the boss. And we're just waiting for Newt to go through and cycle through his skills. So in Yakal's position, I could totally see, something like a Prince Kaimar here, who can also do some damage on the waves. But it gets difficult to build that kind of team, right? Especially if you have just one Prince Kaimar, it gets difficult to make him work for every single thing that you want. Work for Arena, for Fire Night, and everything. You gotta decide at a point on what you want to do, especially because it's expensive to change out your masteries. So yeah, look at this. It's just a perfect run. I'm gonna say that at no point do we lose control of the fight because of all the freezes. They help a ton. And the execution there wasn't really required by the blessing on Newt. Could have had Phantom Touch, which helps, by the way. I have it on Hierarchy the Fat. Could have had it on your Carl in Longbeard, Nelder. If you have it, if you eventually get it, it's gonna help you a ton with getting more hits in there. But 326, it's not fast, but it could have been better, especially with your Carl being out of there. So if we have a look at difficulty 10, that's when things become a little bit more difficult because of just the number of shields that the boss has. It's just too much. It's just too much to have the randomness of the freeze also in there through Nelder's attacks. So when you don't have guaranteed ways to freeze like how Newt has, you really you're wishing for good RNG. So here we just freeze through the waves. And your call helps a lot to get this control going and be able to beat them. But wave 2 is way more difficult. Wave 2 is just crazy. So here, look at those extra turns. They're nice to have. Now I'll actually put it on. I'll put it on manual. Right. Once we reach the boss, I'll put it on manual just to show you on what the ideal scenario would be. But I have no idea if we're gonna even beat this wave, because sometimes I would try it because she doesn't get frozen. She transfers the first debuff always. It gets kind of rough. So yeah, let's continue and see if she's gonna attack somebody. No, she's gonna attack somebody. Somebody's gonna get hurt. Oh, Newt went on her. I didn't click anything. That's good. All right, there's the first unkillable on your Carl. Look at that beautiful freeze. She transferred it though. That kind of sucked. I thought she wouldn't, and then the block debuffs comes, and it's so annoying because they'll start attacking me, and I'll be in really big trouble right here. This time around, it looks much easier to push through round 2 when I changed a little bit of the AI. We managed to get some freezes, so a minute 30 to get onto the boss is not bad, especially when you consider like we don't have a defense down, right? So I can show you guys all the stats in the end. We're not really doing any damage. Look at that, 5,000 by Nelder, but he is proving to be way better than anything else. So here, look at this, 21 shields. We go in there, we drop them, I think to 12. Yeah, so we don't even do half of them. That's problem number 1. If we did more than half, then it would be a little bit better. But okay, there's this guy. There's one of the freezes. There's the A1. Barely took the thermometer there to 50%. There's another freeze. There's the A1. And I think Newt will go with his A3, which is not ideal here. Maybe if we had a proc here from Nelder, that would have been nice. But you saw no proc there. I can't depend on the proc. And then my team dies, all right? So an alternative here is, as I said, maybe a Prince Karmar instead of your Carl to reset everybody, and then use Nelder to do, well, the freezes, right? And get through and push on the dungeon. Okay, so here we have Karmar. Okay, I didn't go out of my way to build him with Savage. I built him with Stun Set, by the way, to help me maybe a little bit with the waves. That Riho is so annoying. You just cannot believe, guys. If I don't get the freeze on her like I have done now, she just cleanses everybody and they kill my whole team. So that is where the inconsistency would come from beating this dungeon. Okay, so if I don't, you know, get into it to build a proper team to beat this round, it gets very difficult. And the boss it's another beast on its own, right? Beating that 21 counter on his shield, you require Phantom Touch. It is the necessity that Plarium introduced with the hard mode on dungeons, where awakenings are like so strong, they give you more damage, you take less damage. Phantom Shogun, you do more hits on the boss's enfeeble counter, whatever that's called. So it's kind of a requirement at this point with awakening. So 1 minute 56, we reach the boss. Okay, I'll leave it off auto right now. Let's do it manual, and I'll show you what I want to happen, hopefully. So we get the 13 hits through. There's another ally attack through. Okay, not ideal so far, because here I would have wanted Newt to hit on not the shield, but hit on the boss, so that thermometer would have been dropped now. Because now I could do the A1 with this guy, or I could do the A2, which is a 4-hitting attack. I think I'm gonna try and do the A1. Maybe the last hit reduces thermometer. That's maybe something that could happen. No, it didn't. So there we go. A1 with Newt. Even got a resist. Fantastic. We push on a reset, and that wasn't enough for us to get it turned through. All right, so this is a possible team that you can do, but I think if I had more awakenings, I could have made it to push through and be something that you can beat 10. On 6, it definitely works, but so do other teams. There's teams that you don't even use Nelder, and you can beat them. I guess this would be way faster on 6 than what I've shown before. So let's have a try and see on how much better this looks on 6 compared to before. But I still think I need like a defense down to get through the waves quicker than like 2 minutes clear. You need like an AoE defense down, AoE damage dealers other than Newt's A2, because basically what you're using Nelder for is strictly control, which is not the best for damage, right? Because the other 2 champions are ally attackers, single target hitters, and then we've got Karmar, who's just Karmar. Really, he does okay damage, but not big damage. Okay, so we even get through some ally attacks. Let's see what happens on the boss. All right, so not that bad, not that much better though. So let's have a look. Ally attacks going through 13. We drop him to 10. Not ideal. It's more than half. Maybe like a phantom touch would have proc there or something. There we go. Terminator reduction. That's what we want to happen on 10, but it just doesn't. There's the A1 from Newt. Gonna get a reset from Kymar. There's more ally attacks coming through. Amazing. And here, ideally, I would have had enabled my decreased speed on Nelder, because that would have helped. Because now he's just spamming A1, which isn't ideal. Because decreased speed would have helped me. But A1 is not bad also, because it possibly can do like lots of things. And I think I had a lucky refresh there on Kymar, so that helps a little bit with all of the damage and everything. But look at that, boom. I mean, I do have 3 refresh gears on Kymar, so it worked as intended, but there we go. We even have like a weakened debuff now, and then we go in probably for the kill. Yeah, that should be the killing shot. Yeah, there it is. 2 minutes 59, and I clicked escape too quickly. Yeah, 2 minutes 59 for the run there. I can show you guys the gear quickly on everybody if you want to build something like this, but you do need Newt Awakening's help, as I've mentioned. My Newt is built with lethal, so basically like a savage. If you go good savage, you don't need lethal. It's kind of the same set, but lethal is easier to gear if you're pushing through for your stats, like 100% crit, 269 crit damage, 258 on the crit rate. And if you do have area bonuses, I could have shown them, but on test server they're bugged, so I can't. You do need the accuracy. And then on your ally attackers, I would highly recommend reflex sets for just the resets. Something like a Frank in the Fat works well because he sends the whole team. So any ally attacker that sends the whole team, it's ideal. Even Frank in the Fat doesn't go in himself, but it's fine. As long as he sends the other big multi-hitters, I'm okay with it, all right? But obviously, Cardiel is MVP here. Longbeard is kind of the same way, but he also boosts damage that you deal. And then my Kymar, the way that I built him for this one was like a stun set, but you don't need it. And he was the slowest of them all, right? With 233 speed. But yeah, this is Nelder is very interesting. Very interesting. I wonder on whether Plarium will introduce more heroes. Yeah, he's not Silver Warriors, he's High Elves. I wonder if Plarium is gonna introduce more heroes in the future, more champions in the future, that will have this sort of skill set with freezes and stuff to make things easier for the Fire Knight. Because it's obvious when they introduced Newt, they had that in mind. They wanted people to be beating the Fire Knight quicker, because maybe they've seen not so much participation by players for Fire Knight, and Newt helped definitely make a ton of solid teams. So this was the video, guys, on Nelder. Let me know what you think below in the comments. I'll see you guys all in the next video. See ya.